You're a waste of company resources, and I'm done pretending otherwise." Sarah's voice cut through the holiday party chatter like a knife. The crystal champagne flutes trembled as she slammed her hand on the nearest table, sending appetizers scattering across the white linen. Jason Matthews, 32, senior systems developer, 8 years, stood frozen, his drink halfway to his lips. Around them, conversations died mid-sentence. The festive jazz music seemed to fade into the background. "I've reviewed your so-called contributions," Sarah Chen, 45, director of operations, 3 months, continued, her designer heels clicking against the marble floor as she advanced toward him. 8 years, and what do you have to show for it? Some outdated code that any intern could replicate? The string quartet stumbled into silence. 50 colleagues turned to watch the confrontation unfold, their holiday cheer evaporating into tense anticipation. "Sarah," Jason replied calmly, though his knuckles whitened around his glass, "perhaps we should discuss this in private." "No." She whirled to face the crowd, her red designer dress flaring dramatically. "Everyone should hear this. I'm making my first executive decision as director. Jason Matthews, you're fired. Security will escort you out. I won't spend another dime on worthless overhead." The room gasped collectively. Someone dropped a plate, the crash echoing in the sudden silence. But what caught everyone's attention wasn't Jason's humiliation, it was his smile. Not the broken smile of defeat, but something else entirely. "Interesting timing, Sarah," Jason said softly, setting down his glass with deliberate care. The night before the quarterly board meeting, Sarah's eyes narrowed. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing," Jason replied, that strange smile still playing on his lips. "Nothing at all. If you've ever faced an unexpected betrayal or felt undervalued despite your hard work, click the subscribe button now. Only those who truly understand the pain of being overlooked will appreciate this journey. To understand that smile, you need to know what happened 8 years ago. Fresh from MIT with honors in computer science, Jason had joined Technovate Solutions with nothing but ambition and exceptional coding skills. While his friends enjoyed their 20s in Silicon Valley startups, he lived in the office, surviving on vending machine coffee and determination. "Another all-nighter?" the cleaning staff would ask, finding him hunched over his keyboard at dawn, empty energy drink cans forming a fortress around his desk. "Just finishing something important," he'd reply, eyes never leaving the screen, fingers flying across the keyboard. That something was revolutionary. Technovate's client data was chaos, spreadsheets scattered across departments, critical information lost in email threads, sales and support operating blindly. Customer complaints were mounting, contracts were being lost. The company was hemorrhaging money due to inefficiency. Jason saw the problem and built the solution, an integrated client management system that would become the company's backbone. He named it Atlas, Advanced Technology Logistics and Analytics System. But Jason was smarter than the average developer. He'd watched too many brilliant programmers create invaluable systems only to be discarded once their work was complete. Instead of accepting the standard employment contract, he negotiated unusual terms with the company's lawyer, Margaret Wong, then 55, head of legal, now retired. "You want to retain intellectual property rights?" She'd laughed, peering over her reading glasses. "For your salary level? That's unprecedented." "I'll take a pay cut," Jason offered. 20% less, but I keep ownership of my code. The company gets an exclusive license while I'm employed." Margaret had studied him for a long moment. "You're either very confident or very foolish." "Maybe both," Jason smiled. "But I believe in what I'm building." She'd agreed, thinking no junior developer could create anything valuable enough to matter. The contract was signed, sealed, and forgotten, filed away in the depths of the legal department. Until tonight. Sarah's arrival 3 months ago had changed everything at Technovate. She swept in with her Harvard MBA, later proven fake, Fortune 500 experience, completely fabricated, and a mandate to streamline operations, code for gutting the company. She moved like a corporate shark, devouring departments whole. First went the senior managers who questioned her methods, then the middle management who knew too much. Each Friday brought fresh terminations, always public, always cruel. There's a method to her madness. she'd announced in her first all-hands meeting, standing beneath a PowerPoint slide showing projected cost savings. Dead weight must be cut for the body to thrive. Employees had shifted uncomfortably. Veterans who'd built the company exchanged worried glances. "She's not streamlining," Marcus Williams, 48, IT director, 15 years, had warned Jason over coffee last week, dark circles under his eyes from sleepless nights. "She's asset stripping, making us look lean for a quick sale." Jason had nodded, watching Sarah take credit for his system upgrades in the quarterly presentation. He'd started documenting everything, every stolen idea, every falsified report, every employee she'd wrongfully terminated. His folder grew thicker by the day, but he hadn't expected her to move against him so soon, or so publicly. As security approached, Jason calmly set down his champagne flute. The room held its breath. 2 guards flanked him, their expressions apologetic but firm. "Before I go," he said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "I should mention something about the client management system. You know, the one the company runs on? Atlas?" Sarah's perfectly shaped eyebrows rose. "Your little coding project? We'll manage without it." "Actually," Jason smiled wider, reaching into his jacket pocket, "you won't. I own it, legally. The infrastructure, the architecture, the entire code base. Check with legal if you don't believe me." He pulled out his phone, displaying a document. Employment contract, page 17, clause 14b. Upon termination without cause, system access terminates in 72 hours. "Merry Christmas, Sarah." The security guards hesitated, looking between Jason and Sarah's rapidly paling face. That's impossible," she stammered, her confidence cracking for the first time. "Call Margaret Wong if you doubt me. She drafted the contract." Jason turned to the crowd. "For those wondering, yes, this means the entire client database, 8 years of records, and all operational systems will go dark Monday morning. Unless, of course, someone reverses this termination." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Phones appeared, texts flew. The head of sales looked ready to faint, clutching his chest. Sarah's composure cracked like ice in spring. "This is blackmail." "No," Jason replied softly, allowing security to guide him toward the exit. "This is consequences." As he passed through the ornate doors, he heard the party erupt into chaos behind him. The next 48 hours were chaos at Technovate. Saturday morning, Sarah discovered the truth. Her first call was to the retired legal head, Margaret Wong, who confirmed everything over speakerphone. "Oh yes, I remember that contract. Unusual terms, but completely valid. Smart kid, that Jason. I warned the board at the time that we should have either bought him out properly or treated him better." By Saturday afternoon, the board had convened an emergency meeting. CEO Robert Chen, no relation to Sarah, 62, CEO 20 years, sat stone-faced as the IT department confirmed the situation. "Without Atlas, we lose everything," Marcus reported, his presentation showing dependency charts that look like spider webs. Client histories, sales pipelines, support tickets, billing information, 8 years of data. Our entire operation runs through Jason's system. "Can't we just copy it?" Board member Patricia Santos, 54, board director, 5 years, asked, her technical ignorance showing. "The authentication runs through Jason's proprietary code. The system is built with quantum encryption. He was ahead of his time. Without his key, we're locked out permanently. Even attempting to breach it would corrupt the data." Sarah attempted damage control. "This is a minor setback. We can rebuild." "In 72 hours?" Robert interrupted. "While our clients can't access their accounts, while our sales team can't process orders." He turned to the company lawyer. "What are our options?" The lawyer, David Kim, 41, senior counsel, 6 years, cleared his throat. "Legally, none. The contract is airtight." Margaret was thorough. "We either negotiate with Mr. Matthews or lose access to our entire operational infrastructure." Board member James Morrison, 59, board director, 7 years, slammed his fist on the table. "How did we not know about this?" "Because no one thought a junior developer's project would become mission critical," Robert admitted. "We got complacent." If you think quick revenge is more satisfying than strategic justice, this channel probably isn't for you. But if you want to see how patience and planning lead to better outcomes, subscribe now for more stories like this. Sunday evening, Jason met with the board at his attorney's office. Sarah was notably absent, already suspended pending investigation. Name your price, Robert said without preamble, exhaustion evident in his voice. Jason's attorney, Linda Martinez, 38, employment law specialist, independent, slid a folder across the table. My client's terms are non-negotiable. The board members flipped through the pages, their expressions shifting from resignation to surprise. You want Sarah's termination to be public? Patricia asked, adjusting her reading glasses. As public as mine was supposed to be, Jason confirmed. Same venue, same audience. And these other demands, Robert studied the document. Guaranteed jobs for all employees, Sarah planned to terminate, full benefits restoration, revision of the company's termination policies, plus a fair licensing fee for my system going forward, Jason added. Though that's negotiable. David Kim reviewed the terms. This is surprisingly reasonable. You could demand much more. The company's valuation depends on Atlas. I'm not interested in destroying the company, Jason explained. I spent 8 years building something I believe in. I just want to protect it from people like Sarah. The investigation that followed revealed the full scope of Sarah's deception. Her Harvard MBA came from a diploma mill in the Caribbean. Her Fortune 500 experience was fabricated using paid references from a service that specialized in fake employment verification. Her efficiency plan was designed to gut the company for a quick sale to Zenith Corp, after which she'd receive a $2 million finder's fee. Most damning were the emails Marcus uncovered on the backup servers. Correspondence with potential buyers, discussing how to eliminate redundant employees and maximize short-term profits by cutting R&D and customer service. Monday morning's emergency company meeting became legendary in Silicon Valley corporate circles. Robert addressed the assembled employees, his voice heavy with regret. 3 months ago, we hired Sarah Chen as Director of Operations. Today, we're correcting that mistake. Sarah stood rigid beside him, her designer suit no longer armor but a prison. Her perfect makeup couldn't hide the dark circles under her eyes. Miss Chen's termination is effective immediately, Robert continued. Furthermore, our investigation has revealed serious misconduct, including falsification of credentials and plans to illegally sell company assets. Security approached Sarah with the same firm professionalism they'd shown Jason 3 days earlier, but this time, the room's silence felt different. Just wait, Sarah's voice cracked. You can't do this. I have a contract. Which you violated, David Kim interrupted, through multiple instances of fraud and breach of fiduciary duty. We also discovered you've been copying confidential data to external servers, a criminal offense. As security escorted her out, Jason watched from the back of the room. No smile this time. No satisfaction in others' humiliation. Just quiet resolve. Robert continued. I also want to apologize to Jason Matthews, whose dedication to this company was repaid with public humiliation. Jason, would you join me up here? The aftermath transformed Technovate. The board implemented new hiring protocols and employee protections. Jason's licensing agreement included provisions for system updates and security improvements. Most importantly, every employee Sarah had targeted kept their job. But the real change came gradually, in small moments. Angela Martinez from accounting, 34, senior accountant, 6 years, stopped looking over her shoulder, knowing her position was secure. She'd been on Sarah's termination list because her son's medical treatments made her too expensive. The development team returned to innovation instead of survival mode, launching 3 new products within 6 months. Marcus finally got approval for the security upgrades he'd been proposing for years, making Atlas even more robust. 6 months later, Jason received an email that he would frame and hang in his office. Dear Jason, you don't know me, but I'm Angela's son, Tommy. I'm 12, and I have cerebral palsy. Mom says you're the reason she still has her job and I still have my doctors. Thank you for being brave. Tommy Martinez. Below it, Angela had added, I was at the party that night. I thought we were all doomed. When security took you away, I went to the bathroom and cried, thinking I'd be next. Thank you for fighting for us. 1 year after the confrontation, Technovate's holiday party had a different energy. No fear, no tension, just genuine celebration. The venue was the same, but everything else had changed. Jason stood at the same spot where Sarah had tried to destroy him, but this time as the guest of honor. The board had invited him to announce the Jason Matthews Technology Scholarship, funded by his licensing fees, supporting young developers from disadvantaged backgrounds. A year ago, someone tried to prove my worthlessness in front of all of you, he addressed the crowd. Today, I want to talk about worth, not mine, but yours. Every person in this room contributes something valuable. Every idea matters. Every employee deserves respect. He paused, scanning familiar faces. The scholarship we're announcing tonight isn't about me. It's about ensuring that talent gets recognized, regardless of background or connections. It's about building something that lasts longer than any one person's ambition. Across the room, Marcus raised his glass in salute. Around them, employees who'd feared for their futures now celebrated their security. After the speech, a young developer approached Jason nervously. Mr. Matthews? I'm Katie Chen, 24, junior developer, 6 months. No relation to, I have an idea for improving the system's API integration. Jason smiled, remembering himself 8 years ago. Tell me about it. As Katie excitedly explained her concept, Jason realized this was the true victory. Not Sarah's downfall or his vindication, but the restoration of an environment where ideas could flourish and people could grow. If you prefer stories of petty revenge over strategic justice, we're not the right fit. But if you value intelligence over impulse and believe in turning adversity into opportunity, subscribe now to join our community of people who do things the right way. 3 years later, Sarah Chen's name appears only in business school case studies about corporate fraud. She faced criminal charges for data theft and spent 18 months in minimum security prison. The Matthews Scholarship has supported 27 young developers, including Katie, who now leads the API team. And Technovate's client management system, now properly licensed and continuously updated, serves as the foundation for a thriving ethical company. But perhaps the most telling metric of success is this. Employee retention at Technovate rose to 94% after Sarah's departure. People stay where they're valued. They thrive where they're respected. They innovate where they're secure. Jason still codes, but now he also mentors. He still problem solves, but now he also prevents problems. And every December at the holiday party, he makes sure to spend time with the junior developers, the ones working through the festivities, the ones with big ideas and bigger dreams. Because Jason Matthews learned something important that night 3 years ago. True power isn't in what you can take from others, but in what you can build for them. And sometimes the best response to someone trying to prove your worthlessness is to quietly demonstrate your indispensability, then use that power to lift others up. In the end, Sarah's very public firing became a catalyst for positive change. Her attempt to humiliate Jason led to his elevation. Her plan to gut the company resulted in its reinforcement, and the client management system she dismissed as outdated code? It's now the industry standard, licensed to dozens of companies, generating millions in revenue. Revenue that funds scholarships, supports innovation, and proves that ethical business isn't just right, it's profitable. As Jason often tells his mentees, they can take your job, but they can't take what you've built, especially if you were smart enough to keep the receipts. The Matthews Scholarship recipients now have their own tradition. At each holiday party, they raise a toast to building things that matter and keeping the documentation. Jason always smiles at that. Some lessons he knows are worth passing down.